How would Warren Buffett tell you to invest your money? In today's video, we're going to be talking about one of the world's most famous investors, Warren Buffett, owner of Berkshire Hathaway. We're going to talk about some recent moves that he's made and what are some of the implications or what are some lessons that long-term investors can take away. Okay, so what has Warren Buffett been doing in terms of what has he been buying? What has he been selling? Well, in the news, the media has been discussing some recent sales that Warren Buffett has been making, which has meant his cash has been building up. So let me just give you the short version. He's been selling some large portions of companies like Apple and companies like Bank of America, which are large holdings in his aggregate company, Berkshire Hathaway. And that has led to the cash in his company continuing to accumulate. And recently, his cash as a percentage of the Berkshire Hathaway portfolio has reached over $300 billion. $300 billion in cash, money markets, treasury bills. In other words, safe money that he is not investing. And that is roughly 30% of the total value of Berkshire Hathaway. And so what has Warren been selling? Well, Mr. Buffett has been selling some large companies. He's been raising quite a bit of cash. And now let's talk about what he's been buying. Or more specifically, what has he not been buying? Well, he hasn't been buying much of anything. In particular, he has not been buying back Berkshire Hathaway stock. So companies have the opportunity that when they raise cash, they're able to say, well, if we think our own company is a good investment, we can do what's called a buyback. We can buy back our own shares if we think it's beneficial. Well, Mr. Buffett has been continually selling shares and not buying back shares of his own company. And he stated in many of his letters that he thinks sometimes it's a good deal, sometimes his company is not a good deal. He's saying this in a shareholder letter about his own company. And so, to summarize, Mr. Buffett's cash position is around 30% of the Berkshire Hathaway portfolio, over $300 billion. He's been selling. He has not been buying even his own company. What is the lesson that we can take away as long-term investors? Do not fall in love with your investments. Sometimes investments get expensive, in which case it might make sense to sell. Sometimes investments get inexpensive or cheap, in which case, whether or not you love them as investments, they might make sense to buy. And so, Mr. Buffett, even though Berkshire Hathaway is his company, and he's been running it incredibly well for decades, he's openly saying sometimes it makes sense to buy the company, sometimes it does not. And as long-term investors, as I always say, know what you own and know why you own it, and understand why you're buying and why you're selling. I hope you found this helpful, and as always, thanks for investing your time with the Personal CFO.